So far-fetched. This is what it's come to, you guys.
Yeah, we've lost some talk.
Hi and welcome to Flossom Talk. I'm Shashti Floor, journalist, Hollywood truth teller, and your voice of reason in a town built on delusion. Okay, so today is the day or tonight that Ryan Reynolds is going to premiere his movie about John Candy in Toronto at the Toronto Film Festival. And as I said yesterday, I'm wondering if Blake Lively is going to be there to support him on the red carpet. Someone sent me a post that they've been spotted together in Toronto, but I think that was a couple of weeks ago, actually. It was this restaurant or this place that bragged about having them stopping by. So I don't know if they've been there the entire time. Maybe, because we haven't seen them around for a few weeks. It's almost like Blake Lively is listening to her lawyer's advice that, you know, since you've been suffering so much, maybe you should go into hiding a little bit and pretend that you're actually suffering. But as I said yesterday, if you're there, please send me some photos or a report from what's going on. I would love to hear it. I've been to the Toronto Film Festival so many times and I really love it, actually. It's a great, great festival. Anyways, I mentioned this photo before that Ryan Reynolds put in one of the magazines in Toronto to promote himself, saying that sick kids like him. And someone made this satire on Reddit, and I just had to show it because I thought it was so funny. So as you can see, it says, Ryan Reynolds, we like your money. And there's pictures of all the people that are taking advantage of him and his money around him. So yeah, I love that. You can see Aria Manuel, Stephanie Jones, Leslie Sloan, Blake Lively, Hugh Jackman, and many more in this photo of people surrounding Ryan Reynolds because they really like him. Also in this episode, I'll talk about Jed Wallace's new brief that is hilarious. He's really taking the piss out of Blake Lively's lawyers. I really enjoyed reading it. And also there is the most funny hit piece on Justin Baldoni out there, and it's so stupid that it's almost as stupid as the article that was planted by Blake Lively's team. I think it was last week when she said that she was the one breaking up with the Taylor Swift and not the other way around because she was so disappointed in Taylor Swift for not supporting her. Yeah, this article is up that alley, if you know what I mean. Yeah, we have a lot to go through, you guys. First, let's get back to Jed Wallace here because this was quite funny. So if you don't know the backstory of Jed Wallace, he's like the hired gun that was hired, according to Blake Lively's team, to smear her. And they haven't found any evidence yet. And he's been dismissed from this case because he lives in Texas. And the judge agreed that he wasn't under New York jurisdiction, where Blake Lively's lawsuit is. So he's been trying to use that to get out of this. And Blake Lively is trying so hard to convince the judge that he belongs in New York court. And her latest argument, I mean, you can't make this stuff up, is so dumb. So for Jed Wallace to belong to New York jurisdiction, he needs to either have done business there or directed actions there or knowingly caused effect there. That's the definition. So now Blake Lively's latest attempt to tie him to New York is to say that she posted a post on her own Instagram tagging it like she was in New York. So in her logic, Jed Wallace must have read that and seen that she is in New York. So that's why he must belong in the New York court. Okay, so keep that in mind. And then Jed Wallace's attorney took this expression that she put on Instagram, which was blue jean baby, New York lady or NY lady. So this is what's so funny in this filing because they're actually tearing everything apart. And this caption that Blake Lively put under one of her posts saying that it's not blue jean baby New York lady, is blue jean baby LA lady. And they're saying this is a very famous expression from Elton John's song, Tiny Dancer, and a line everyone who's ever seen Almost Famous knows about. So the fact that Blake Lively is using a quote that she doesn't even know where it's from and is misquoting this, they're making a lot of fun about that. And also, the point is, they can't even prove that Jed Wallace read her Instagram caption. It's so far fetched. This is what it's come to, you guys. That Blake Lively says that she wrote New York on a post on her Instagram. So then Jed Wallace must know that she is in New York, and that's why he needs to be in the New York court system. Also, if that would be true, it's still not enough to connect him to New York. Oh my God. This is so desperate. It's getting worse and worse every day. The things that she makes up. I can't believe that her lawyers are actually filing this kind of stuff. So just imagine this is her strongest evidence to connect Jed Wallace to New York, that he must have read her caption where she was actually misquoting an Elton John song to talk about her blue jeans. I'm sure she was wearing blue jeans in this picture. I don't know where the picture is, but that was the caption. And she's saying, like, he is the man behind my smear campaign, and this is what proves it. Yeah. I mean, try to make sense of this. I can't. I give up on the logic here. It's just come to a point now where we can't, we just have to laugh about it. Talking about funny stuff. This hit piece on Justin Baldoni, I think it's a few days old. I saw it yesterday and I could not stop laughing. This is the worst hit piece I've seen in my entire life. So this is from Globe, which is, yeah, like a National Enquirer kind of magazine. So I'm sure that the source that is quoted in this story about Justin Baldoni probably shopped this in other outlets before he landed it or she landed it in the Globe. But here is the headline. Justin Baldoni lives like a prince amid legal drama. Very high opinion. Very high opinion of himself. Exclusive. And then they're claiming this. He's been embroiled in headline making lawsuits all year, but Justin Baldoni isn't keeping a low profile. Justin Baldoni has not been seen in public for a year. Since It Ends With Us premiere, basically, no one's seen him. There's been a couple of paparazzi shots of him hiding out with his family in Hawaii, wearing shorts and flip-flops and a tank top. And that's about it. And I think last week I published here on my channel this Instagram photo of someone that was on a hiking trip with him up in Sweden, up in the mountains, where he was with his wife. That is what I call keeping a low profile if you're up in the mountains in Sweden. Anyways, this source here saying that he hasn't been keeping a low profile without giving us any examples of why he's not been keeping a low profile. Funny thing is, they added a photo of Ryan and Blake in the same article with no caption whatsoever, but it's obvious that they're keeping high profile. They're all dressed up to the nines, going somewhere in New York. I think this was the night they were going to see Hugh Jackman's show or something like that. And it's so obvious from this that they actually called the paparazzi, smiling, posing, walking together, holding hands. And the photo that they have of Justin Baldoni in this story is from the premiere of It Ends With Us, which was the last time he was seen publicly on an official assignment. Yeah, and it gets worse. So they're saying he's still living his best life and he's doing it without any guilt or shame. Why should we have any guilt and shame? And what is living his best life? Living in Hawaii, not being able to work because he lost work because of this frivolous lawsuit. And it says that he was sued by Blake Lively and he filed a countersuit and then he lost, blah, blah, blah. According to the source, the 41-year-old, who's worth an estimate $6 million per celebrity net worth. There's no facts on celebrity net worth that's trustworthy, by the way. And also, $6 million is not like, oh my God, he's so rich. It's $6 million. That's pretty normal if you are an actor in in the US. I wonder what Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' worth is. Probably like at least 10, maybe 100 times more. And it says here that he still lives like a prince and enjoys the best things money can buy. First of all, if he's living like a prince, he would be surrounded by security 24/7. I'm from Norway. We have royal family there, and most people know the British royal family. They don't just walk around going to spas and living their best life, spending money. They have full schedules representing their country, and they have so much securities. They're followed everywhere. There's nothing about Justin Baldoni that says that he lives like a prince and enjoying the best things money can buy. What is he enjoying? We'll get to that shortly. He's got his beloved sports cars and custom tuned Lexuses, and he never misses a workout or a spa treatment. Says the source, he gets $1,000 haircuts and wears $1,000 shoes like it's totally no big deal. First of all, how do they know that he never misses a workout? Are they there with him? I'm sure he has a gym in the house that he's living in Hawaii, or when he's in California, that he has a gym in the house, or maybe he goes to one. But this person must have been stalking him and not missing a spa treatment. Like, what do you mean missing a spa treatment? That he booked it and it doesn't show up, so then he didn't miss it? Or that he goes to the spa, he should be home, like feeling ashamed and guilty for what he's done to Blake Lively. I also wonder where you can get $1,000 haircuts as a man. I would love for them to actually put these examples in here where he's getting these $1,000 haircuts. So if anyone's out there supporting this story and believing it, if we can get those facts, please, the $1,000 haircuts and the $1,000 shoes. You know what? Celebrities get so many freebies. I'm sure if he has very expensive shoes, either he bought them because he did make money on It Ends With Us, which I think, we should be okay with. And also, these shoes, where are they? Can you point them out? Take a photo and show us his $1,000 shoes and then explain why it's so wrong. And here we get to the real points of why Blake Lively's team is planting this story. During a pre-trial conference in February, Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, who also represents his producing partners, Jamie Heath and Steve Sarowitz, told the judge that his clients were devastated financially and emotionally. He continues, Friedman also alleged that Baldoni had been exiled from polite society and suffered damages totaling hundreds of millions of dollars because of the lawsuit. In newly unsealed text messages from Blake Lively's suit, in which she also accuses Baldoni of launching a smear campaign against her, the actor's business partner, Heath, revealed he had hired a $9 million crisis management firm. Where is the logic here? First of all, he did not hire a crisis firm for $9 million. That was a joke. It was because he thought it was expensive. He spent maybe $90,000 altogether on this crisis, but he didn't spend $9 million. The budget for the movie was like 25 or $26 million. He didn't spend $9 million. So they're basically saying here that Justin Baldoni doesn't care about any of this and he's just spending money left and right. So it can't be true that he's financially devastated by this or emotionally, because he is living like a prince. And here comes the best part. But despite the publicity firestorm that threatens his career, adds the source, the Jane the Virgin star dresses and looks like a guy who holds a very high opinion of himself, because he absolutely holds that opinion, says the source. So, what does a person dress like when they have high opinions about themselves? I don't know, actually. If anyone has an outfit from a person that has high opinions about themselves, I think maybe some of Blake Lively's Met Gala outfits are outfits that you could maybe say that a person has high opinions about themselves is if they're wearing something like that. But the only photos I could find from Justin Baldoni since this lawsuit was filed are paparazzi shots from Hawaii where he's looking like this. Does that look like an outfit that a person who has a high opinion about himself dresses like? I'm shocked that they could actually print this article. and that he dresses like a guy who holds a very high opinion of himself because he absolutely holds that opinion. It's like a 9-year-old did this. It's so bad. And here comes the cherry on the top. Even after all he's been through, he's not letting anyone change who he is or how he lives. Why should he change who he is? Should he change who he is because Blake Lively sued him and how he lives his life? One person hasn't changed the way she lives her life after all these traumatizing events have made her suffer so much financially. She lost so much work over this, and she's been really terrified for the safety of her family. But she's out and about on so many red carpets, calling the paparazzi to take photos of her leaving the house, going to all these events, promoting her hair care line. That's Blake Lively. I think all of this actually really fits into explaining what Blake Lively lives like. We could just actually swap the name Baldoni in this article and put Blake Lively, and it would make total sense. She lives like a princess and definitely spends $1,000 on haircuts and most definitely have $1,000 shoes. So we can't call her a victim because of that. Is that the logic here? Because if this is true, then we can't say that Blake Lively is a victim because she doesn't behave like one. So then we have to throw the logic back at Blake Lively's team and say, okay, is that what you're really saying here? Anyways, tomorrow Blake Lively is going to talk about her Blake Brown products in New York at this Glossy NYC event at MIT. And I saw they actually promoted this on their Instagram, the Glossy NYC did. And for all the other speakers at that event, they obviously kept the comment section open. But with Blake Lively, they had to close off the comment section. Why would you hire someone to talk about how successful they are, and then you have to close the comment section on Instagram when you promote them because people hate them? Also, I've shown this before, but it's just a reminder that you can book Blake Lively at this website for $200,000. I don't know if this is where they booked her and if they paid $200,000 to book a talent to talk about her entrepreneurship and the success of her brands when she's so disliked that you can't promote her without being embarrassed about it. So funny fact, if you missed the episode where I spoke about this, if you go into this website to actually book Blake Lively, you can look at her bio and then you can look at video. When you click on video, it's the interview that I did and it says my nightmare interview and the interview that made me want to quit my job. That's the video that they have in there to promote her. Why don't you book this bully to your event for $200,000? Anyways, you guys, yesterday I spoke about how Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are people pleasers, and Ryan Reynolds is trying to teach his kids not to be people pleasers, that they should put themselves first and not make anyone happy, because that is a really big trap. And then someone sent me this short video where this expert, his name is Jimmy on relationships, and he talks about people pleasers. And it was so fitting.
I'm going to say something that most of my audience is going to hate. Okay, here we go. Sometimes people pleasers can be the worst listeners. I know, I'm not happy about it either, but it's true. When we see ourselves as the martyr, we don't leave a lot of room for other people's perspectives, do we? Because I'm usually pretty good at listening and empathizing and validating with someone, unless they bring up a complaint against me. Then I think to myself, well, that's interesting. I mean, after everything I do for them, they're really going to complain about that? Don't they know how much I sweep under the rug for them? Don't they know how often I bite my tongue and don't say something when I could? Don't they know how much grace I give them? But that's the problem. It's not grace if we're just waiting for a moment to rub it in their face. It's not grace if we think because of our giving, they owe us. I mean, we get to bring up complaints against them because, well, it's them after all, but they're punished with defensiveness or invalidation if they bring something up against us. If your selflessness leads to self-righteousness, it's no longer kindness.
Anyways, another interesting little turn here in coverage is from The Cuts and this reporter called Olivia Craighead. I spoke about her. I don't know how many months ago it is, maybe 3 months ago. She did a story on me saying, when is Kjersti Flå going to stop talk about Blake Lively or something like that? Or she's not finished talking about Blake Lively. And she was really trashing me through this whole article, saying that I talked too much about her and I was taking advantage of the situation, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, just to point that out, that this is the 11th article that Olivia Craighead writes about Blake Lively. But this time, it's a little bit different. She's been so blindly supporting Blake Lively through this entire thing. And now all of a sudden, she's talking about Taylor Swift and Blake Lively's relationship here and why Blake Lively isn't going to go to Taylor Swift's wedding. And she's actually pointing out all the things that actually happened, because most Blake Lively supporters always forget to mention the fact that Taylor Swift felt that Blake Lively blackmailed her and threatened her to delete evidence, or to delete their text messages when they were talking about Justin Baldoni. But this time, Olivia Craighead actually mentions it. She mentions everything. So good for Olivia for actually telling the truth there. I think as soon as Taylor Swift got involved, all these blind Blake Lively supporters were kind of like, oh, how are we going to defend this? How are we going to defend her now? And I've seen it at People Magazine, for example. I've talked about that. They're like, should we support Taylor Swift? Should we support Blake Lively? It's obvious who they're choosing. And I think their reporting has slightly changed since Taylor Swift got involved in this. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Oscar wanted to say hi and say that he's feeling great after his little mouth surgery. He's missing 2 teeth underneath, but he doesn't care. He's so happy. So he just wanted to send kisses to everyone. And please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode of Blossom Talk. And if you want to hype, you can just swipe over the comments and that will help my video reach more people. Anyway, see you tomorrow. Bye.
Yeah, we've lost some talk.